Hi, this is Zechs from C2E2 with Josh Warner. I've always wanted to find this man at a convention, and I finally found him to talk about his book, Mighty Moose. So can you please talk about Mighty Moose to me?
Okay, just so everybody knows, this is what, like take 3 now?
Take 3, yes, unfortunately, because my camera's not been cooperating.
No, so I started the book in the mid-90s, you know, when I was deployed in the military. I got back into comics and started seeing the big 90s revolution and stuff. So I resurrected a character I created when I was 8 years old, and just started doing comic books. It was always kind of hard for me, especially doing it at the shows, trying to kind of come up with that catchphrase or something, in a nutshell, what's your book about? And finally, a buddy of mine, maybe a year ago, finally, really put it under one canvas and said, "What if Frank Miller did Zootopia?" And that's pretty much the book in a nutshell. It's a dark, gritty. The tagline I like to use is it's an anthropomorphic superhero crime noir thriller. So I like to, and the reason being such a ridiculous tagline is because I like to hit on different facets of everything in comics that we love. I want to touch on science fiction. I want to touch on like the gritty, crime. I want to touch on the superheroes and supervillains and all these different aspects of all the different things. So I have this character now that I can do anything with, and it's all going to be believable because it's an unbelievable character in the first place.
But it's the unbelievable character, but it's the fact that you do all this adventures with that unbelievable character. It's like, okay, I want to read more about this unbelievable character.
Well, but I've had people that come back and say, you know what, this book would really sell well if you use people. But that goes against what I'm trying to do. It's a comic book.
Exactly.
Let it be a cartoon, and it's all about just making having fun with it and stuff.
And that's what I love about it. It's a fun comic.
Right, and it's again, I mean, it's not like the comics or anything. It's not like it's not something that you haven't seen before. Sometimes I'll actually pay homage to things, and I purposely do things that you've seen before. Like the
2 covers that I bought.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if anybody can guess what the plot of this story is, but it feeds into the overall storyline. But it's also basically paying homage to Dan Jurgens and those guys,
Even Rob Liefeld, that you should.
I've done plenty of homages, and as a matter of fact, my new book, which I found that when you do a cartoon character, you tend to get a lot of kids that kind of come by and check it out. You can't sell a kid, Frank Miller does Zootopia, but you can sell a kid the Justice Squad, which is basically Mighty Moose and his super friends. So I did a new kids book that's geared towards the kids, but it's also very nostalgic for our generation, where we grew up only being able to watch cartoons on Saturday morning, and you had to get up to go.
You had to force yourself up to go watch it. It's like,
exactly.
Oh crap,
So
it's 7 o'clock, I have to go on.
You get your bowl of Frankenberry, you sit back and watch the Herculoids, So that was, I wanted to do a little bit of a nostalgic thing for the parents, where they're, it's because as a parent myself, I tend to go, what is this you're watching? We all sit back and go, when I was a kid, they had real cartoons, good cartoons, so. So I wanted to kind of bring back the real cartoon, good cartoons, and then, but still have something that the kids could play with and have a good time with. So, it's just trying to do my thing.
And you're doing a spectacular job, because it's just amazing work you've done. That's the reason why I just wanted to. When I found out you were here, I was like, I have to interview you. I have to give, because I always wanted to try to interview you, but I never had a chance to because I just couldn't find you.
You know what? And it's crazy. It's awful. I'm awful on camera. I'm a terrible interviewee.
But you're an amazing artist. I remember the first sketches you did for me at the convention. I still have those things.
Yeah. No, it took me a while for me to figure out what the heck was that, but yeah.
But can you explain to me what this over here is, like out of
the animation?
The animation.
Actually, I can get you, and if you want, you can get a link to the YouTube. But it's
sure.
it's basically I kind of dabbled a little bit into the animation, the CG animation stuff, because I really wanted. At heart, again, being a kid that grew up watching cartoons, I never wasn't one of those kids that grew up saying I want to be a comic book artist. I always wanted to be an animator. I always wanted to like work for Disney or work for Warner Brothers or something like that. That's always been my dream. But our generation, when we got out of school, you couldn't go to any college to learn how to be an animator. You had to basically go to a portfolio review in Orlando or LA, and then work as an apprentice or whatever. And being a kid from the Midwest, it wasn't feasible.
It was impossible.
You don't live.
Unless you randomly have a guy show up in your class one day and it's like, yeah, I worked on this and this, and basically that's all you heard about it.
I mean, it was just one of those things where there was no in Flyover America. Back then there was no way for you to get into the animation business. So instead, I went into the military, so now I'm doing comics.
Well, you're now the Tom King, basically. He worked for CIA, now he's doing comics. You're the military, you're doing comics.
Exactly.
But what's your favorite character besides the title character in the comic Mighty Moods, out of curiosity?
In the series?
Yes. What's your one favorite to draw? Like,
it's funny because they're all special. It's hard to say like what's my favorite to draw because they're all great to draw. But I will say that I found like, especially like in the first storyline, I was actually kind of surprised that I had more fun writing the stuff with the mob and the bad guys and building that the characters in that than it was playing with the main character that I created and that's the funny thing about my book, which you've seen, is that the main character of the book is not necessarily the main character of the story. The main character of the book kind of ties things together, where it's like the main character is really the universe. There's so many interesting things going on with the ancillary characters, and that's where I got kind of caught up in the writing portion of things and building the universe, that I've got all these great characters that I created, and then it's like, well, then you got to kill them off. So then you create, there's like, I guess what I love about working on the book is building the world from scratch. And then you take a character, and I think that any creator is going to say, well, this character's got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like Mighty Moose is an example. It's like, in a nutshell, he's basically, what if Peter Parker were Batman, kind of thing. He's still got his issues with his real life, but then when he puts on the costume, then he's kind of this dark and brooding thing. But it's all an act, kind of thing. And then I've got Dynamic Duck, who's another hero in the story, and he's like, what if Bruce Wayne were Spider-Man? So he's like all playboyish and stuff, but then he's all like fun-loving superhero guy, when he's out fighting crime, And then and then I take bits and pieces of again, I don't think that anything is original these days, so everything's
homages to what they grew up with.
It could be back to Greek mythology, it could be back to, something that Stan Lee did with Steve Ditko once upon a time. Everything's derivative, which is not a bad thing.
No.
There's a reason that those are successful, but and it's not, I don't think it's a formula per se, it's just, how you play with it. It's like everything's a little bit of a little bit of this, but you got to put your own twist on it. So, and that's what I do. And sometimes it's outwardly, this is that. But it's meant to be. It's meant, just because it's fun.
So right now, the latest issue of this series is actually with the.
It's issue 14, which is the introduction of a new character. Well, not an introduction of a new character. The character's already shown up, but she puts on a different hat at this point, and which leads into the next issue. And these books are one-shots, not one-shots, but they're one-and-dones. They're self-contained stories, and then when they're collected, they'll be collected in a trade eventually as, you know, just one-and-dones. But every single story that's in this set of issues are going to have something to do with the very next storyline. So it's going to be we're introducing some new characters. We're putting characters in different positions, different scenarios and stuff, and there's a little bit of stuff that's tying up what happened at the end of the last storyline, but building into the new one. And the next storyline is going to be pretty
epic.
It's going to be pretty wild.
So when's that one coming out? When are you thinking of it to be out?
Oh well, geez, you know what? I've got, you know, I haven't written anything yet. I have the next 2 issues written, just the one-and-dones, and I've got just the idea of the story. I don't, you know, like the plot, you know, the basic plot in my head, but I have to kind of flesh that out. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you just got to keep putting pressure on me, right? So yeah, no, I'm hoping within the next couple of years we'll get rolling on that. Probably within the next year. I mean, after I started the thing with the Justice Squad, I mean, I've really been having a ball with doing the kids book and you know, playing around with it, and that's a whole different style of writing and drawing, obviously. But,
exactly.
But I'll tell you what, like, this past year has been an incredibly productive year for me, and I think I'm finally starting to get into more of a, you know, continuous mode of operation. But amongst the other things that I get going, like, you know, I gotta keep the house clean and you know, wash the dishes.
Real life work.
Pick the kid up from school. Gotta go coach soccer. Gotta, you know, things like that. But I think I've gotten into. I'm starting to get into. I'm really finally getting into this routine where I can, you know, knuckle down and really kind of be more efficient with my productivity.
Well, I can't wait for the next issue that it comes out.
Yeah, that should be in, well, I've got next issue, which is what's planned is issue 16, which may end up becoming 17 because I have my friend that did issue 13. He actually did the pencils for this because I specifically wanted a different style for it. Because with it being a flashback issue, I wanted to have more of a Silver Age style than the kind of thing that I do. He wanted to do another book, so I gave him the script of another book, but you know, I gotta wait for him to do it, kind of thing. So I may have to squeeze, you know, because they're single, you know, one-and-done issues. It doesn't matter what order they go in because they're all single story. So.
And where can you pick up the trades out of things, so that people know that where to pick up the trades? Is it on Amazon? Is it on Comixology?
No, you know what? No, when you see me at a show, that's probably, or you know, if you can contact me on like, you know, on the Facebook or the Instagram or the Tumblr. There's a Tumblr. Like I assume that when you're gonna post this, you've got the
I will.
You've got the info and stuff with the links, and I'll give you the YouTube link as well. But yeah, I mean, contact me on there.
And when's your next convention out of curiosity? You know yet, or?
The next one that I know for sure is going to be San Diego.
All right.
Comic-Con.
So that you hear it first. You want to pick up the series? You can file. I probably should give the leaks, but if not, go to San Diego Comic-Con. That's what Josh will be at next. Thank you so much, Josh, for your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks.